Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue, to include shorts, as well as community posts. That would be here on the YouTubes, of course. But I do want to thank all of you guys across New Tech, as well as here on YouTube, for all of your guys' continued support.
We start things off from the New York Post. And of course, as you know, we're only 2 months away from the election, so we have a lot of distractions and a lot of activity is starting to unfold as, of course, the Democrats, in particular the establishment, are pointing fingers at, of course, their favorite target for any type of influence or activity within our election system, Russia. However, when it comes to the Democrats, they seem to be more impacted by the Chinese, which is interesting because they rarely, if ever, mention the Chinese. But here we go from the New York Post. Furious, New York Governor Hochul reacts to Chinese spy staffer bombshell, a betrayal of trust. Now, here's what's fascinating, is that, of course, you guys know that I'm a fan of Serpent ZA, that would be Winston, and 𝐀𝐦𝐴86, that would be Matthew. Both of them were vloggers in China for over 10 years. And of course, now they are living in the United States. Winston is from South Africa, but he is American citizen now, as well as Matthew having been a U.S. citizen. But Matthew just released a video the other day that has over 1 million views, where he's talking about how they're having a very similar establishment-type maneuver with the CCP, very similar to what they did to Joe Biden. So that's also very fascinating. But I digress. We move on. So Governor Kathy Hochul was left furious after learning one of her former aides acted as an alleged Chinese spy in her office and within state government. Now, of course, we already know, because we've covered here on the channel several times, about how China uses soft power here in the United States when it comes to students from China here studying in the United States, or individuals that are coming here to the United States, and how China uses soft power to keep them under control. And in many cases, unfortunately, and I say this within context and detail, many of them do become foreign spies. They gather information, collect information, they go back to China, and then basically, and in that video I was just talking about with Matthew, it was discovered partly along with what they're doing to Xi, is that, of course, they naturally use our information, intellectual properties, and copyrights and everything, and then convert it into, actually, that was incorrect. That was Chinese Fact Chasers, which is another channel they have, where they were talking about how this is a very common practice. And, of course, you guys can check them out, Chinese Fact Chasers, or you can look them up, 𝐀𝐦86 and or Serpent ZA. You can find those guys. Again, I digress. I'm furious, and I'm outraged, and I'm absolutely shocked at how brazen her behavior was, Hochul told WNYC's Sean Carlson Tuesday afternoon. You got to say it like that. Referring to Linda Sun, a former deputy chief of staff who was charged with acting as a foreign agent for China. But, I mean, the thing is, it's, you know, we don't want to stereotype, and we don't want to accuse every particular individual from China of being a spy or having some nefarious activity. But we have to be very cautious. We have to be very careful nowadays. But obviously, all the attention is always on Russia, Russia, Russia. But it's fascinating because I think it was it not Nancy Pelosi who had a driver that was involved in some Chinese activity? I think it was Nancy Pelosi. Someone in San Francisco. I remember it being San Francisco. I know it's not Kamala Harris. I'm pretty sure it's not, has anything to do with Kamala Harris. It's important that you pronounce her name right, or you're part of a hate campaign. So here she is right here. Here's Linda Sun. Received lavish gifts in exchange for New York supporting the Chinese government, federal prosecutors allege. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, she's given inside information, which is not unusual. But we have some more inside information type activity that's going on, which, of course, as we just mentioned, the favorite topic of all Democrats, and that is Russia. But, of course, they also have to mislabel individuals as well when they say right-wing influencers were duped to work for a covert Russian operation, U.S. says. So they have 1 million followers online. They've been major players in right-wing political discussion since Donald Trump was president, and they work unknowingly for a company that was a front for a Russian influence operation, U.S. prosecutor says. And this is Tenet, I believe, is the name of the company that they had worked for. But Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Benny Johnson are not about to be involved in anything that they think is nefarious, much less anything involving Russia, or willingly or intentionally wanting to help Russia in any way. I just want to say that to them as content creators that I follow and watch on a regular basis. And essentially what this article is breaking down, first off, of course, they want to make all of them look guilty of having done something wrong. But at the same time, then when you get down here to the bottom, it does indicate that that they weren't intentionally trying to work for these and that the Russians used their information without their knowledge. So it isn't like, after the indictments were announced, both Poole and Johnson issued statements on social media, which Rubin retweeted saying they were victims of an alleged crime and are not and have done nothing wrong, and they haven't. We still do not know what is true, as these are only allegations. Poole said Putin is a scumbag. But as you can see here, I think they also reiterated here. See, the U.S. Justice Department doesn't allege any wrongdoing by the influencers, so they weren't really doing anything. They were just going about doing their own coverage. But as we know, the Democrats always like to reinterpret what people say to fit their particular analogy. But we also have this from Tim Poole, and I want to play a little bit of this for you guys.
This morning, I am announcing that I have engaged legal counsel. We are preparing a lawsuit against the Kamala Harris campaign due to a defamatory statement posted on X, which is extreme, egregious, and I just got to say outright psychotic in accusing me personally, as well as Laura Loomer, but we are two separate individuals, of calling for unchecked legal power so that they, meaning Trump and his allies, can jail and execute anyone who doesn't support Trump if he wins, which is a shocking and egregious lie that goes so far beyond the pale. I just can't even. It's shocking and downright insane. This, of course, this tweet came over the weekend, Labor Day. Immediately, I contacted my legal team and furious. My family is furious. The tweet in question refers to me as a Trump operative. I do not work for the Trump campaign. I've never received any money from the Trump campaign or Trump PACs. We have received no outside investment for this show, for anything related to Timcast Media Group. We received no outside investment. It's all been funded from the ground up from the start of my original podcast, youtube.com/Timcast, as well as my personal savings. The tweet goes on to say that I have a Project 2025 plan. I am in no way associated with Project 2025, though I've interviewed some of the people who are associated with Project 2025 and have been involved. Timcast has not, and will not be a part of or in any way related to Project 2025. Nor have I ever called for anyone to have unchecked legal authority. And I will stress this because this is the most shockingly offensive part of what they said. And I'm jumping right to it right away so I don't waste your time because I have a lot to talk about. I am opposed to the death penalty in all circumstances. I have argued against the death penalty in every circumstance. I do not.
So he goes on for quite some time explaining all this, but this is the typical behavior. And we see here, I haven't watched the video yet, but here it is. DOJ indicts Russians for funding Tenet media scheme. Tim Poole listed as victim. So I've not watched the video. It was released 3 hours ago as of this recording, as I'm recording now. So I haven't had an opportunity to watch that in the show prep here. But I did want to make sure that everyone understood that there is, of course, as we have seen, we knew it was going to be a very wild 2024, as we have always said here on the BuzWeaver channel. And, I always welcome your thoughts and your comments and your opinions down below. What are we going to see? What's going to happen? What do you think is unfolding? Do you have family members? Do you have friends? Do you have colleagues? Do you have people that you engage with that are still having these discussions that seem to be completely off the wall when it comes to the actual truth of what's going on? The accusations that are made towards Trump, leveled towards Trump, individuals that support Trump. I mean, the allegations and so forth are absolutely extraordinary. And many of you know that I live here in Georgia and may be wondering why I haven't covered the activities that just recently happened here with the school. But of course, it's YouTube, so we have to be very careful what we say and what we talk about and what we can cover and how we can cover it. So I have not intentionally tried to avoid covering the topic of that incident here in Georgia. I just want to let everyone know that I am aware of it. I've been discussing it with other individuals on my social media, so make sure you follow me on those platforms because you can find those links down below. But I have not covered it here on the channel because it's just right now during the political time that we're in right now, the channel is already dealing, or all channels across all YouTube is dealing with the new algorithm that they put out. I don't know what in the world this algorithm is doing, but everyone is complaining about it. Every creator at every level on every topic about everything, everyone is going through this bizarre situation with the channel. So I do appreciate your guys' continued support across all of my platforms as well as you guys here on YouTube. And that's what I had for you guys this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to, so I would encourage you guys to follow me there. If you order frequently from Amazon or a Amazon Prime member, you can use those links down below. Those platforms, or I should say, they act as the Amazon platform landing page. There we go, landing page, that's the word I'm looking for. And of course, VPN, Virtual Private Network. Trust Zone has been my go-to. I actually need to renew my subscription. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank you so much for your continued support across New Tech. And of course, liking, subscribing, and commenting does help out the channel across all the social medias. So I appreciate all of that. And I will see all of you. We almost forgot. Yes, because I have the outro already right here. This is the outro appearing there on the screen. That'll be the channel icon you guys can click on to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, as well as select notifications. So you know when there's content here on the channel, I made it through. I'm distracted. There's a lot of noise going on around me. So my apologies. But I want to thank all of you guys for your continued support, and I'll see all you guys behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.